The following program is for adult audiences only.
This is
What If We're Right?
Live right now.
Are you ready?
Find and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram.
Things about us before we get into the news of the day. I just want to say a couple of things that have happened. We're entering season 3, and I want to just say the show now going into its 3rd year. There's some things that have happened since we started the show. We got into it a little bit last night, but there's things around the world that are undeniably different since Gord and I started podcasting. Couple things. Cigarette smoking in North America has dropped to its lowest level since 1965. Since you and I started podcasting.
There you go. Saving smoking from all over the world.
Right? Here's a thing. Now, is it connected? I can't say it's not. Ever since Gord and I started this show, global suicide rates have dropped by 38%. That's just since they were 38% higher before we started doing this show. Is there a link? Prove there isn't. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a link. I'm just saying it makes sense that since Gord and I started this show, democracy is more widespread than ever. Now, 6 in 10 countries are democratic. They weren't before me and Gord.
That actually makes the most sense of anything.
Doesn't it make the most sense?
Yeah.
A global survey shows that since our first year, young people are now more optimistic than adults for the first time in years.
Of course, because the young kids are blaming the adults for everything, not realizing their own fucking faults of the whole thing.
Since Eric and Gord started being right, since we started being right about things, the proportion of people being sent to prison in the United States is at its lowest rate in 20 years.
Wow. And 65% of our listeners are in the U.S. That kind of makes
65% of our listeners are in the U.S. And more people have voted in American elections than ever before since we've been doing this show. Could that have something to do with, is it Trump or is it us? You know,
less people hate us than Trump.
I'm just putting the dots out there. It's for you guys to connect them. Gord and I bitch about gun safety quite a bit, especially recently. 67 new gun safety bills have been signed into law since you and I started this show.
Oh, wow.
Now, are they listening? Or were they going to do that anyway? That's not for me to tell you.
But I'm going to tell you something.
I'm just telling you. The world seems to be a much better place since Gord and I started this podcast. State-based conflicts are down 32% since we started this. The war is down 32% since we started this.
Interesting.
Gord and I have been saying that the movement in the Middle East has to be dealt with differently. And since Gord and I started saying that, 80% fewer Iraqis have died. That's just a fact.
That's amazing.
Gord and I said things have to be done differently over there. And a year later, they're being done differently over there. Is it just a coincidence? Probably.
Who knows?
I don't know, but it's amazing. The world is better because of Eric and Gord. That's
right. That's life.
I'm saying you could listen to Eric and Gord, or you could be miserable for the rest of your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I am going to tell you what to do.
That's what we do.
It's interesting to me. I just like that the world's better. Pearl Jam hasn't put out an album in 7 years. Everyone thought they were done. Everyone said they're not doing an album. I announced that we're doing a 3rd season in March. All of a sudden, there's a new Pearl Jam album in March. Weird.
Strange.
Right?
Yeah.
These things happen while we're on the air. That's all I'm saying. If we weren't on the air, would any of these things happen? I guarantee you probably wouldn't know it if they did. Not you, Gord. I'm talking to the world here.
No. Yeah, of course.
Number one news source in North America right now. The only credible news source in North America in the last going on 3 years.
We could poison the ants. We have to help the poison ants. Oh, no. Because these ants, which have been trapped in there for years upon years, but they survived.
Please tell me they're Teenage Mutant Ninja ants.
No, well, they're cannibals now.
Oh, of course.
So they went from wood ants to being cannibals, and they found what the fuck is the number here? Upwards of like 2 million ant corpses.
Who's the poor fucking intern who had to count those?
Oh, I know. That's just it.
Count ant corpses. What?
They examined the 2 million or so ant corpses left behind. Abdominal holes and other signs of bite injuries were found in 93% of the corpses.
That's hilarious.
And the ants ended up creating basically an ant ladder so that they could get out through a hole in the ceiling, which is how they all got in there in the first place. Because as soon as they walked by in this hole, they just fell right in.
They created a dead ant ladder?
No, a live ant ladder. They made an ant route leading up a wall. They did it just under the ceiling where the ants dispersed.
Now, see, if they could do the ant ladder to get to freedom, why wasn't that the decision before hey, let's cannibalize 93% of us? Why? It just makes me think that they were planning that ahead of time.
But here's the interesting thing, though.
We could crawl to freedom right now, or...
Coffee over there looks kind of tasty. I mean, wood's good and all, but I've always wondered, what we taste like.
Seriously, we could just form a ladder and get out of here right now with using our bodies. Or, now hear me out.
Just hang on a minute.
When we get out of here, there could be a lot less of us. And a lot more wood for you and me, if you know what I'm saying. I got an idea.
Now, do you want to know why that decision was made, by the way? I can tell you why.
Why the ants made that decision?
Yes.
How do we know why ants made a decision?
Because this next fact I'm about to tell you will answer that question.
Oh, God.
The colony's population was growing fast, but not because of reproductive activity.
No.
There is no queen, no eggs, or cocoons ever seen anywhere in the bunker.
How can they? Okay.
Which meant that they kept falling through the opening from the roof from the outside that they were building their ant ladder to crawl out of.
Right.
All those ants kept falling in.
Sure.
So the reason why the decision was made, there was no woman to say, "Are you guys fucking stupid? Build a ladder."
I guess. Well, no.
You just get pussy if you go up there and they're like, "Oh, pussy."
You don't pick cannibalism over form a ladder and get out of here right now.
I don't know.
By mistake. That's not like they didn't just stupid their way into that decision. That was a conscious decision on their part. I'm sorry. Cannibalism is never plan B. Like that's like we only have two options: do the very simple thing that we're going to do anyway, or eat most of us and then do the very simple thing that we're going to do anyway. No. Sorry. They did that on purpose. That was planned. Especially 93%, all but 7% had bite marks. You didn't just get through 93% before you realized, oh wait, we didn't have to do this at all.
Guys, we got to stop. There won't be enough for the ladder.
Yeah.
Fuck. We're going to be short. God damn it.
That's okay. There's probably a group walking by right about now. Whoop, there they go. Right through Someone put a fucking red circle around that hole already? There's 2 billion of us.
I mean, that's just it. Like, that's just the dead ones. You still got the alive ones that have survived. So you still got another, whatever, 7% of 2 billion is.
It's just, like, you'd think at some point one of them would be like, hey, where'd everybody go? Someone should put a pylon out or something. Tell them
the
about
thing is that ants work by scent trails.
Yeah.
So you think when you're walking and that scent just ends, somebody would stop and be like, hang on a minute. So what happened here? I don't know.
I think I see a sequel to A Bug's Life being written right now by me. A Bug's Life is short and delicious. I don't know. That's just ridiculous. That's a great story. But, wow.
Wow. There's going to be some really expensive wine available soon.
Is it made out of cannibal ants?
No. Northern California in the Muir Woods National Monument Park. A hiker was killed by a toppling over redwood tree, a giant redwood.
Oh my God.
Now think about this. This is a 200-foot tall tree measuring 4 feet in diameter. And this guy managed to get hit by it. Now, I'm not saying anything by this, but the guy's name is Subhradip Dutta.
Oh, no.
Subhradip Dutta, my friend, I know you've passed on, but, dude, seriously, you couldn't get out of the way of a 200-foot fucking falling tree that's got a base of 4 feet?
That's,
Come on. You literally have to step 2 steps to the side and you're out of its way.
Now, 4 feet. That's a good, healthy base on a tree, I will say.
Huge. You hear it. You know it's coming. That doesn't sneak up on you.
No, it only falls one way. Like, stand on the other. I used to do arborist. I worked for an arborist very, very briefly, but I know that like it falls one way. You just stand on the other side. You're fine. It doesn't matter how big it is.
That's just, I don't know, man. Like, come on.
Retard alert! Oh, retard alert!
Yeah, those are back for a little while.
And it happened in daylight. It was 4:30 in the afternoon.
I just hope he wasn't like a super like environmentalist, save the trees dude, and he got taken out by a tree.
I don't know.
And that is, can you say his name again for me?
Yeah, hang on. His full name is Subhradip Dutta.
Now that's an ethnic ass name. You don't get
absolutely.
Wow. You know, it's like
Hradeep. So it's Subhradip Dutta.
That's one of those names. That's like serious. It's not one of those. You know, there's some ethnic names that can be sort of white. That is not one.
No.
Like Andre. You can no. I think black guys pretty much have the market on Andre, but it could go either way.
Yeah.
But not
Subhradip.
Subhradip. That's not going.
Subhradip.
Black guy and the white.
Deepa.
You know what?
Yeah.
Name Luther. You know what's funny? Two guys that are very, very always on complete opposite ends of the spectrum intellectually. Sorry for your loss. All them family of Subhradip.
See, what I mean, again, I hate to do this, but I just find it humorous. But he was with somebody at the time, and the woman was injured by falling debris. Was taken to hospital. Yeah.
She couldn't say, hey, move?
Right? I mean, like, if it said that he was impaled by, like, one of the branches, sure. But this guy legit got hit by the tree itself.
Subhradip, heads up!
Maybe heads up in their language means something else. I don't know. But they're from Minnesota, and They're from Minnesota, and they were visiting California, and motherfucker got smoked by a 200-foot tall tree with a 4-foot diameter base.
I can tell you the first problem.
Minnesota
is not one of the states on our list.
There it is. First problem right there.
They are not one of the 28 who listen to Eric and Gord, and therefore, anyone who listens to Eric and Gord, what if we're right, knows to get the hell out of the way of a 4-foot fucking falling tree.
You hear a cracking of a 4-foot diameter. No, for those that don't know, pull the about a math. That's 4 feet across, not around. That's 4 feet across.
That probably didn't. It probably wasn't like snap, boom. You know, it takes a long time for 4 feet of wood to crack. And
it's 200 feet tall. Like that's a lot of shit coming down.
It probably cracked for a good long time, and he was standing up going, what?
What is that?
What's going on?
Why is this weird shade coming at me? I don't know.
This tree is making all kinds of weird noises. Somebody move. No, I'm going to keep looking up and see what's going on up there. Maybe it's a woodpecker.
You know, and of everything else, I love the comments, because one of the things that the thing says is that it is a very rare isolated event.
I certainly hope so.
Here's the first thing. The first guy comment, this is what he says. He puts that quote. So this is a very rare and isolated event. He goes, actually, 100 people a year die from falling trees. Rare, yes. Okay, now hang on. Let's just take your first statement. 100 people a year die from falling trees. You've got 300 and how many million people in the U.S.?
Roughly about 10 times Canada. It's about 360.
10 times the size of our entire country's population. And 100 of them die a year from falling trees. Now, out of that 100, how many of these idiots are still holding on to the chainsaw?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you break this down to how often it's actually like somebody being killed by an actual tree collapsing under its own accord, it probably comes down to like 4 a year.
Now, I'm going to ask Google a question here and see, and I don't want this to end up like our people dying in a cemetery episode. But I
know that was pretty funny, though.
And actually, I just listened to it the other day. That's why it came to mind. It is quite funny. But I just want to see what else kills 100 people a year.
Because while you're looking for that, just so you know, in June of 2018, a 14-year-old Boy Scout from Texas was killed by a falling tree during a camping trip in Georgia.
Okay, bee stings kill 100 people a year.
Bee stings kill 100 people a year. Okay.
That's one. Champagne corks kill 24 people a year.
Really? Champagne? Imagine dying from that. That's embarrassing.
There is less. Okay, here's what this is. It's how likely are you to be killed by a shark? Well, one person every 2 years is killed by a shark. 25 things more likely to kill you. Now, I have 4-foot trees. I don't know if they're on this list, but traffic lights. Traffic lights are responsible for 2,000 deaths a year in the U.S.
As in, like, a traffic light falling on somebody?
No. People running. It's a combination of people running them and them falling, and just any traffic light related incident. Now here's one. More common than the tree there. Falling coconuts kill 150 Americans a year.
Awesome.
Now here's what you and I are quite fond of. This isn't in America. This is worldwide, but mosquitoes kill 800,000 people every year.
Yeah, that's still huge. And it all comes from like one town, I think.
Yeah, it was one.
It was one country, like Burma or some shit.
Yeah. Football injuries kill 12 people per year. Tripping and falling 6,000 deaths per year. Raw meat. Here's the country where you're allowed to ask for your burger to be medium rare. 5,000 people a year in the U.S. die from consuming raw meat.
That's amazing.
There you go, blue steak.
Yeah.
Now, in response to that, cows kill 20 Americans every year.
So I guess that means that of those deaths, it must be from people eating like raw meat. That must be like chicken, because
I don't know. It just says raw meat. Number 10 on the list: 104 people are killed by wind.
I'm sorry. Wind, as in W-I-N-D, wind?
W-I-N-D, wind. 104 people. But that includes hurricanes and tornadoes. So.
I guess.
I mentioned
but
bees.
Nobody's killed the wind. They're killed from something hitting them.
Horses kill 20 people a year in America. The cold kills 600 in America alone every year. Ladders.
Most of that's in Florida when it hits plus 10.
Ladders, 355.
Oh, wow.
Hot tap water
Oh, come on.
kills 100 people a year in the U.S.
So you have just as much of a chance of dying from hot tap water as you do from a falling fucking redwood tree.
Now, here we go. Dogs kill 30 Americans a year. One for you and I. Now, we know better because we've done almost a whole episode on this. Ants kill 50 people every year.
I wonder how much of that is from like one person, then the other person goes in to rescue them, and they succumb to the pressure.
Oh my God! I didn't even believe this was actually possible in real life. Falling icicles kill 15 people per year in the U.S.
That surprises me. I thought that number would have been higher.
Now this
surprises me.
This is amazing, but the cutest animal in the world, and this is not America, this is worldwide, but hippopotami, claim the lives of 2,900 people a year.
Wow.
So you're just a guy who commented on Sander B. Birdie's death. Got 29 times better chance of being killed by a hippo than by what Buddy died from there. So it's to say it's common. No, 29 times more common to be killed by a hippo than a 200 foot tall tree.
And just to give one more thing, just to relate this to more to America as well. On Friday, Baltimore broke the annual per capita homicide record after reaching 342 killings on Friday. So you have 3.5 times more likely of being killed in Baltimore walking down the street than you do about getting killed by a falling tree. So in other words, get out there and hike in the forest and avoid Baltimore.
Right? Now, here's one just in the United States. 450 people per year, every year, die by falling out of bed.
And those are seniors.
My favorite, which is, by the way, one that you'll love, 24,000 people worldwide every year are killed by lightning.
Holy shit. That's really high.
And now, my favorite, as many as 1,000 per year. This is 1,000 people per year die trying this. Now, how many are trying it for that number to be so high? Autoerotic asphyxiation.
That's awesome. Thank you. What's the lead singer of INXS? What's his name?
Jesus. Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, Michael Hudson. Thank you, Michael Hutchins. You made it popular. That's great.
A news reporter in Oklahoma is sitting watching a video on the news, and it's a video of a gorilla. And she turns to her very black co-host and says, "Hey, he looks just like you."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I don't think he had anything to do with it.
On a live newscast. "Hey, that gorilla looks like you." And here's Brian Gumbel sitting there going, not that this guy looked like Brian Gumbel, but just stunned. And the whole country is, well, not the whole, who knows where anything that goes on in Oklahoma. So all of Oklahoma was stunned. And then this went on, it just obviously went viral because that's what things do. And that's a good thing now. I don't get that. Going viral is good. And chlamydia should be fantastic, but not so much. So anyway, this guy, this white, very white.
Talk about a slip of the tongue. Jesus.
She's apologizing now. He is being the bigger man going, "Look, she just made a mistake. We've been friends for years. She doesn't mean it." He says it's a teachable moment to teach that words matter. Fuck her. If in the 21st century you don't know that turning to a black man and saying he looks like a monkey is wrong, society's not right for you.
Yeah, but they're friends. It's okay. We're allowed to salt these.
Yeah, it's okay to say that at your fucking house behind closed doors, not live on the fucking air.
Exactly.
But it's so much funnier that way.
Well, of course it's funny. But just because it's funny doesn't mean I mean, this is coming from me. I'll say anything, and I do.
Listen to our show and the things we say on it, and you'd think we're insensitive to these matters.
But what you don't hear me say is you don't hear me call up a fucking black guest and go, "Hey, monkey boy!" It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a level of fucking sprain somewhere.
Exactly.
Wow. Hey, looks just like you, you fucking ape. Jesus. Banana. Do you imagine? Like, it's fucking, it's an ape.
You can't break out laughing when you're talking about how it's not funny, Gord.
It's had its time. It's in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. I'm allowed to laugh at these sort of things.
Did we ever just crap all over that one?
Yep.
Oh, sweet goodness. Holy fuck. It's not funny. We all die laughing. Goddamn great.
We just lost the last 4 black listeners we had.
Probably only had 3 to begin with. Oh my god.
Hey everybody, listen up for a second. A dull knife is an accident waiting to happen. Whether using a chef's knife or a paring knife, a sharp blade is a safe blade. When it comes to getting that perfect edge and increasing the safety and lifespan of all your tools, practice makes perfect. So don't take chances. Take them to the professional. Take them to Gord's Little Shop of Sharpening. Gord's Strain is an encyclopedic knowledge of blades and proper maintenance. Your blades of almost any shape and size are expertly edged at better than competitors' prices and returned to you in just a day or 2. True craftsmanship, exceptional skill, and attention to detail make Gord the trusted expert for all your sharpening needs. A sharp knife works better, it's safer, and it lasts up to 50% longer. So don't take any chances. Take them to Gord. Gord's Little Shop of Sharpening. You can find him on Facebook.
This podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.